Hello, hello. I decided I wanted to talk about multiple streams of income and believing in yourself. So first, I always link this back to myself. I think we're taught to always prepare for the worst, right? We are always taught, have some contingency plans, some backup plans. We're always taught that. But as the older you get, you don't feel like you can even give yourself the space to dream and let alone think that your dreams could come true. So if you watched my previous video on why I decided to stop teaching full time, I decided I was going to try part-time. Y'all, I did not believe in myself. I did not think there was any way possible that this was going to work. And here's the reason why I didn't think it would work is because I felt like I have all this debt. I don't make a whole lot of money. Like I'm barely paying my bills working full time. I had just bought a new car. I was like, this is not going to work. But I was like, I'm going to try. I'm going to try. So when I decided I wanted to work part-time, I really was more so doing my own version of like FMLA leave. Like I really thought, okay, I had strategized. I worked summer school. I had about $10,000 saved when the school year started. So I was like, okay, I know this will get me to December. Between my part-time income and this 10,000, I know I'll be able to pay all my bills from August to December. I know this is going to work. Well, in the midst of that, I end up losing some income. I have rental property, and I had factored that income into my how I was going to make this work at least until December. Well, I lost that money. Well, by the time I got to last school year, y'all, by the time I got to May of this year, 2022, I was like, this stuff is working. This is working. I'm doing it. I could really make this work. I can really work part-time. And it's made me think about, what if I would have believed in myself? What if in January of 2020, when I said I want to work part-time, what if if I had given myself like a hint, just a hint of space to believe that could work and picture it, and maybe have saved up differently, maybe had said, you know what, I'm just going to start trying to live on half my income now. And I'm going to save as much as possible for the next, 5-6 months. And then that way, when I start working part-time, I'll kind of have some routines. I'll already be already have cut back on spending, yada, yada, yada. But to me, there was no reason to do that because I didn't think it was going to work. And I think sometimes we don't allow ourselves the space to hope because we feel like we'll be disappointed if we're like, oh my gosh, I was hoping this would work out. And then we get let down when it doesn't. But the flip side of that is that when you don't believe in yourself and you don't think something's going to work, once it starts to work, now you're like, ooh, wait a minute, this is working. And now you're like, like I feel right now, like you're running around with like a chicken with its head cut off because you're like, wait a minute, I didn't think this was going to work. Now I got to figure this out, this out, this out, this out, this out. So believe in yourself, which leads me to my multiple streams of income. Because of course, in order for me to make this part-time lifestyle work, I have to reconcile two versions of myself. So right now, with my teaching job, part-time teaching job, that's my main job, I make about, after taxes, probably about $3,100 a month. And yes, benefits are included, so that's great. Well, I have rental property. I have a Section 8 rental property. It was my grandma's old house, and I've rented it out now. And I get about $1,100 a month. So you figure that's $4,200 to $4,100 depending each month. So let's just say $4,200 a month. Now, my current lifestyle, current Michelle, not only does my lifestyle fit within that $4,200, I actually would have $1,000 left over. So that means after I paid my mortgage, my car note, my car insurance, my utilities, my little subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, all that kind of stuff, my discretionary spending, I would still, my savings and investing, I would still have $1,000 a month to play with. But guess what? Current me is still making peace with previous me, which had no concept of why do I have all this freaking debt? So every month, y'all, my minimum payments on my debt is somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000. And if I could just, get rid of that, of course, I could be sitting pretty in my part-time job. But of course, that is not my life right now. So as a result of that, I was like, okay, I don't want to go back to full-time, but I need to make some other little money so I can pay down this debt. So the first thing I did, and I have a little note card here, y'all, because it is ridiculous how many jobs I have tried since May of 2021 or 2020. Yeah, 2021. So I told you my main job is my part-time teaching. I'm a part-time high school teacher. So those hours I work Monday through Friday from 7:45 to 11:45. My other source of income is my rental property. So once a month I get $1,193 to be exact, but we'll just say $1,100. Now my next thing was our school has like Saturday school. So for kids who need extra help, we have that. So I do that. Now that is not every Saturday. It ends up working out to be like a couple Saturdays a month. The beautiful thing is it is my hourly rate. My hourly rate is over $50 an hour. I think it's actually close to 60. So, I mean, that's perfect. That's wonderful. So I do that when it's available. I also signed up to do standardized testing to be a proctor for like ACT, SAT. That doesn't pay a whole lot, not a whole lot. I mean, maybe like 100 and some change or something, but it's something. Then let me look down and see. Okay, so then I started with ticket resales. Now I'm a gambler, so I like to play around a little bit. So I started with ticket resales. Love me some Harry Styles, y'all. So I do ticket resales. I think I end up profiting from my Harry Styles. I think I spent like $700 and end up profiting like $2,500, I think, after they took their share and you take out the $7 I spent and all that. I also have some things listed on Poshmark, or I did. I mean, because I'm a minimalist though, of course, I don't really have a lot of stuff. But one thing that I did do, and it's really helped me, is I used to be really into Pandora bracelets. So I had a Pandora bracelet and I decided, you know what, I'm going to sell each one of these little individual charms. So I think I had like 8 charms total plus the bracelet. I actually have maybe like 2 or 3 charms left plus the bracelet. Maybe I'll link it down here just in case I got some Poshmark people watching me. The other thing is, surveys. I was like committed to them surveys for a minute. Like since I was watching so much TV anyway, I would sit down and do surveys. And I wasn't making a whole bunch of money doing that, but maybe $20, $30 a week doing surveys. Then I signed up for study.com. I have not done anything with that because cognitively that was just beyond me. The job sounded easy, but then once I got selected for it, I was like, I do not understand what I'm supposed to be doing. But in essence, what I was supposed to be doing was, someone would write test questions and they would attach them to a standard. And I served as an evaluator capacity. Like I would look at the questions and make sure it matched the standard. And they evaluate your ability to do it on some practice ones. Y'all, I was getting some right, some wrong. I couldn't figure out what made the ones I got right. Why were they right? The ones I got wrong. And I was like, okay, this is too much. So I don't do that. Then I signed up for OutSchool because I heard a lot of people talking about OutSchool, but I didn't really like online teaching when I had to do it. So I knew that whole like Zoom stuff, and then the kids at home and I'm begging them like, pay attention. So I did try it once. I did try it, and the class I offered was a cursive writing class. So I bought me a document camera, and I love writing in cursive. So I had one little girl sign up. We had 3 sessions. We practiced, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, how to write her name. And I mean, she was very sweet, but I just realized, I don't want to do that. Another thing I tried recently was there's this thing called Sitter Tree. So I decided to babysit. Yeah. No. And no, I'm almost 50 years old. And I mean, it was the longest 4 hours of my life. Okay. I made $80 and I did it for, I signed up instead of doing a family because I was really a little skittish about going in people's houses just because I didn't know their cleanliness levels. I know that sounds but I just know myself. So I did through church, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna have the older kids since they see I'm a teacher. I used to teach elementary school. They're gonna give me like, the elementary school. They gave me toddlers. So now granted, they were potty trained. They could speak very well. But when they wanted me to read and play with them, of course, they're like in my lap. Their noses are running. I'm like, oh, absolutely not. So and then I was like, okay, Michelle, you do need some money right now, but you also are getting older. And what are some ways that you could make money, but it may not be exactly a direct exchange of time and money? So the 2 things that came to mind are YouTube and teacher pay teacher. Now with YouTube, my students have been telling me like, oh my gosh, you should just make a channel. Like, you're such a good storyteller. I really think people will watch you. And I was really hesitant to make this channel because I'm super private. Like, I hate people in my business. But then I also realized, you know what? We are blessed to be a blessing. Maybe I could share some stuff about my life or my journey that might help somebody else. So go for it. So here I am on YouTube. Now at this point, my YouTube channel isn't monetized yet. Because see, now I'm believing in myself, and I'm believing one day this is going to be monetized. And then my other one is my teacher pay teacher store. Well, before I get to that, I had also tried being a ELL instructor in the evenings, where I worked from like 5 to 9. And I was helping people who had recently come to the country learn English. It was wonderful getting to work with so many different people because I love to travel. So I got to, interact with people from so many different cultures. They were wonderful. But what I have been finding lately is, because my lifestyle, I don't think it's grand, but I think I have kind of allowed myself to spoil myself. I've gotten used to some things that maybe to others might be more of a luxury. To me, it feels like a need. It might really be a want. But anyway, I've realized that, okay, like that babysitting thing where I made $80 is all relative. Okay. Before I subject myself to little kids for $80 and worrying about, am I going to get sick? I could literally just eat out a little less and shave off that. So what I started to do is I started to really look at how I was making money. Was I exchanging time for money? And what were some other things that I could do that could potentially not require me to always do this time for money exchange, but potentially make some money? Now, because I am almost 50 and I have never been around, I don't know a lot of entrepreneurs. I don't know a lot of small business owners. 90% of the people I know, work 9 to 5. They work 30 years. They retire. They work hard Monday through Friday. They kind of turn up, so to speak, on Fridays when they get off work. They turn it back down and, slide into work on Monday, that kind of stuff. So this idea of like, how can I make money by not directly exchanging time and money? So I feel like my rental property is like a nice middle ground, because with the rental property, it does not take a whole lot of work because it's Section 8. I know I'm going to get my money. Yes, the people do not necessarily take care of your house as well as maybe some other people would, but I'm willing to take that risk just because every month I know I can count on that money, and that's not exchanging time for money. I just know every month I send my tenant a little Cash App reminder. I even started LLC for that because eventually I want to get a couple more properties. So that's kind of, moving away from that exchange of time and money. But I also realized I don't want a, real estate or Section 8 empire. Like at most, I want 2 more houses. So that would give me 3 houses and potentially maybe about $3,500 a month. So I have, been watching YouTube a lot. And I knew the idea of Etsy, and I've been watching all sorts of stuff. And literally, I'm embarrassed to say it, y'all, I have had my teacher pay teacher store for 7 years. 7 years. And 7 years ago, actually almost 8, when one of my colleagues introduced it to me, I was like, what is it? And y'all, I'm a dinosaur of a teacher. This year 22. I was like, what? Teachers are charging other teachers for their stuff? What in the world? Why can't you just give it away? That's what we do. We already don't make a lot. Why are we charging each other? Okay, so I really was not, that into it. And he was like, I'm telling you, like, it's a great way to make extra money, yada, yada, yada. Well, 8 years ago, I wasn't really trying to make extra money. I was okay with my one job and, the whole nine. Well, fast forward to, I would say August of this year is when I was like, okay, I think teacher pay teacher, they just actually changed their name to TPT. I was like, they're changing a little bit. Like, I got on there. I was like, okay, I see the quality of stuff is different. The pricing's a little different. Now, like, schools can sign up for a membership. And I was like, you know what? I should get on here and try. So in August, I tried it. I wasn't like super duper serious, but I kind of tried it. So fast forward to November, really October-ish, end of September, early October. It was like the most amazing thing that happened to me. My students and my son, they were not impressed, but I was. So I made some back to school stuff. Like, I made like a culture collage because I teach World Lit. And so I took these little Post-it notes, and every Post-it note represented a different thing. So it might be food, or it might be your hobbies. It might be your religion, your favorite musician, things like that. And we made like this cute little collage, and it was a great kind of getting to know you thing, all that. So I posted it, and like 2 days later it sells. Now, mind you, I had other products on here. So like last year when I started reading Reading Bold books, I would read the Reading Bold books and I would put them on there. So, I mean, over the course before October-ish, I mean, I probably had maybe 20 products, if that. And they were very random. They weren't necessarily connected to anything. Well, I mean, all connected to the idea of literacy, because of course that's my baby. But what got me started, 8 years ago, when my colleague was like, you should get on. And I was like, I don't even know what I would make. Well, he was getting ready to do a personal finance unit, which is just perfect because we know how much I love saving money, talking about money, investing money, learning about the whole nine. So anyway, I make that. And people buy it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Somebody, spent $5 and bought it. So fast forward to end of September. My culture collage sells. I sell one, then I sell two, then I sell like three, then something else sells. Then I put some other stuff on there. So like at the end of August, I think I made like $12 or something. And I was like ecstatic, like, what? I can't believe this. And so because I have allowed myself now to believe in myself, I understand, like, wait a minute, I can do something that, granted, I have no idea how much money I could make, but I could make an unlimited amount of money. And so once that settled, I realized, okay, instead of having all these different streams of income, why don't I focus on like one of them, which is my teacher pay teacher store. So I've really been going hard. I've really been seeing growth. If you're interested, I can do like those other people to do the little income reports after so many months. Maybe I'll do that anyway, because I really probably start getting serious, maybe August. So maybe, what would that be? August, September, October, November, December, January. Maybe I'll do like a January one, 6 months, because I have definitely noticed like some shifts and some growth and all that cool stuff. So maybe I'll do that. But the thing that I think nobody talks about multiple incomes, which I think is crucial, is nobody talks about systems. So nobody talks about, okay, well, what are you going to do when you have money coming from here and 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 here? And what are you going to do when you're someone like me who you do not have enough money to pay your bills? So what are you going to do when this money comes in? Are you just automatically paying this stuff? Are you going to put it in a savings account? Like, what's the deal? So my tips for managing multiple streams of income are keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. And so what I have now, and I have simplified because I really started this system, I would say last month, y'all, because my teacher pay teacher store started selling a little bit more. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. not if, when this picks up, like my goal on Teacher Pay Teacher right now is to make between $500 and $1,000. I am nowhere near there yet, but that's my goal. So I know there's some people on, YouTube, and they'll share their stats and they're like, I made, I don't know why my face is itching. Sorry, y'all. They'll be like, I made 5,000 this month. I made 10,000. I made this. That's not my goal, because I realize in order to do that, I'm going to have to amp up the marketing and the email list and the da-da and the da-da-da. The whole point of me switching from full-time to part-time teaching is to try to embrace slow living. So I'm not trying to I don't want to be too busy. So anyway, I realized I need some like system. So now I've decided I have my main checking account. And so that's where my teacher money goes. And then I have a savings account connected to that. Then I have a business account. Now, originally I got that business account for my rental property because I needed a place, for the tenants' money to go. And then that way for tax time, I wouldn't be trying to separate it out. Well, recently I decided, okay, once my Teacher Pay Teacher store made a couple dollars, I was like, well, wait a minute, I need that money to go somewhere. And we know if it goes directly into my checking account, it's going to get lost in the shuffle. So now that goes to my business account. Well, I have some savings accounts through Capital One, and then I have an investment account through Fidelity, and then I have an account through 53rd Bank. That's my discretionary spending. So I decided these are going to be my kind of pots of money to manage the multiple streams of income. So that was kind of like level 1. So now I'm at level 2. So where I'm at right now is now I'm looking at, okay, I do not have enough money to pay my bills every month, yet somehow I am managing to pay my bills every month and still have some money in my savings. So I realize I need to get more focused, because clearly this is working, but I don't quite know why, and I don't have the appropriate systems, at least for me. So now what I've decided is, starting in December, I'm going to budget the $4,100 first. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to pay all my current lifestyle bills with that $4,100. Then what I'm going to do is all my credit card debt is now going to have its own little sheet. I do paper pencil. It's going to have its own little sheet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start attaching this additional income to the debt. So that way I know, what, I made enough on Teacher Pay Teacher this month to cover, Capital One and Citibank, or, things like that. Or I'm going to use my, Teacher Pay Teacher money to pay my Netflix subscription, or, stuff. Be a little bit more intentional with these little pockets of money, and any random money I get. So if I sell something on Poshmark or with ticket sales, when that money gets, deposited in the PayPal, where's it going to go to? I just keep that in my savings. And then that way each month, to make up the gap between the $4,100 and my bills, I can just transfer money over from my savings. So I'm kind of playing around with that. And I left out a job, y'all. How about I just got hired to be an online teacher? Now I know if you still with me this long, didn't you say you don't like to do that? I don't like to do it live. I don't like doing it live. But this one is a really cool model that my district has, where it's all asynchronous. So there is none of this. It's all set up for you. And in essence, you are really just providing feedback to the students for the different courses. I'm freaking out a little bit because it's my first time doing it, and they gave me AP Lang. And so for my high school teachers who might be watching me, remember I spent 16 years in elementary, 4 in middle. This is only my second year, 3rd semester in high school, and now I'm getting ready to teach an AP Lang class. But I'm excited. I know I'm gonna be able to rise to the occasion, but I will get paid for that. The only downfall of that is that's not a monthly pay, it's a semester pay, but it'll still be good eventually. So that's kind of my latest thing. But yeah, so I hope you got something out of this. The real big message though is believe in yourself. Just give yourself a little hint of it might work. Because then if it does, you already at least have a little outline of what you're going to do. And that's where I am right now. My YouTube channel is not monetized. I am not bringing in, my $500 goal on Teacher Pay Teacher, but I have a system now so that when I do reach my goal, I'm not like, oh my gosh, what did I do with that money? I can't believe I made that much money last month, but I don't know what I did with it. That kind of stuff. So I hope this has been helpful. We have a couple more weeks in the year. So I hope 2022 went somewhat as planned. If not, no biggie. If you're still here, you got next year to try some different things and, rise higher, be a better version, different version of yourself. And until later, first of all, thank you for watching this long. If you're still with me, thank you. And until later, be grateful and bye-bye.